Hello everyone, this is Pastor Lon. I want to welcome y'all back to the channel today for some Sunday afternoon chat time. I hope everybody's had a good week. I hope you're enjoying this Sunday afternoon wherever you are. And I hope you have a good upcoming week. As usual, I always try to have a topic I want to talk about on these Sunday afternoon chat times. And today is two words rolled up into one topic, and that is manners and respect. I think those two words go hand in hand. I think in 2023, there's a lack of respect for each other and a lack of manners that's being practiced, not just with children, but with adults in this time we're living in today as well. See, when I grew up, I was taught, and a lot of you on here are probably taught the same way. It's yes, sir, no, sir, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, please, thank you, you're welcome. Those kinds of words come out of your mouth as a child especially, but even as you got older. I don't see a lot of that in this world we're living in today. I don't see a lot of, I see children talking back to their parents instead of respecting their parents. And lots of times that's because the parent's trying to be their friend instead of their parent. And unfortunately, I'm not a grandparent yet, so I can call it like I see it, but I see a lot of grandparents that are a lot more lenient on their grandchildren than they are their children, or they were on their children. And I get it, your grandchildren, but at the same time, you got to realize that you got to teach them respect as well and teach them proper manners to, practice that yes, sir, and no, sir, and yes, ma'am, and no, ma'am, and respecting the elders. I think that's not being taught at home anymore in this last day, showing respect for one another, showing respect for your country, showing respect for your elders, your veterans, or whoever, just showing respect for just other human beings in general. And practicing good manners. Maybe sometimes you need to let somebody cut in line in front of you. Maybe you sitting at the grocery store there with a buggy full of stuff and somebody behind you has 2 or 3 items in their hand. Hey, let them go ahead of you. The Lord will bless you for that. And you never know what they're dealing with in life. It could be nothing, or that could be a kind gesture of you showing respect that you put them before yourself. May change their whole mood that day. Their whole outlook may have having a bad day, and that kind gesture from you and I made a difference in their life. But I was also taught when I was growing up, for his manners, not to chew with your mouth open. I don't know how many of you ever had that taught to you, but I was taught to, not to chew with your mouth open. And even though we talked at the table back then, you had to, whether it was at your grandmama's table or your parents' table, a lot of times you sit around and you would talk about different things that happened during your day. And maybe if it wasn't with everybody, there's always somebody else at the table besides you. And I think you need to be respectful when somebody else is talking, whether it's at a dinner table, supper table, breakfast time, or just in general. It's showing them respect is listen to what they got to say, if you expect them to listen to what you got to say. Because I've seen a lot of people I've talked to, and they make you kind of feel like what you said didn't amount to anything or didn't mean anything. When you would say something, they said, man, that ain't nothing. Let me tell you about this. I'm like, well, what I said was something to me. I don't know whether it was to you or not, but, respect is earned, but I think you can also teach your children to respect others and teach them good manners. Not to reach across somebody else's plate. Man, that was a big no-no when I was growing up. Don't be reaching across somebody else's plate. And lots of times in my generation and before me, kids didn't go dip their own plate. I say dip their own plate, that's what we say, and fix their own plate, but dip their own food's what I should say, out of the pots and put in your plate. You had an adult to do that for you, because they didn't want kids up there messing around the food and whatever could, contaminate it in some way or another, or either you could spill it or mess around a warm or hot stove. They just didn't let kids do that. But now, kids not only do that, but and I say kids, it's a lot of older people too. They waste so much. You see a lot of drinks left on the table. They open a drink and drink 2 swallows out of it and leave it. I don't drink any soda anyway, but I see that a lot of wasteful things. And I think it goes back to respect. Respect that if you hadn't opened that bottle and if you'd have poured it in a cup and drank a little bit of it and saved the rest of it in the refrigerator, somebody else could have drank it later, or you could drink it later. But we're living in a time, I feel like, where there's so much entitlement. People they feel like that the world owes them something. They feel like they don't have to earn anything or work for anything, or their opinion is the only opinion that matters. And that's not the way it is in life. We're all in this together. We're all created equal in the eyes of God, and we need to show respect for one another no matter who we are or where we come from or where we're going. But manners and respect is a dying commodity in this country and probably around the world. Some of you that live in another country that comment on this channel, let me know how it is where you are. But I see here there's a lot of disrespect from children toward their parents and toward elders, even into our veterans and even into clergy. And I think it can go both ways. You know, if you don't teach your children manners and teach them respect, how can we expect them to practice good manners and to show respect to others? So I think that's something that needs to be addressed in this country, in the family unit, at home first. It starts at home, and to venture out into the community, we need to practice good manners and practice and show respect to anybody we come in contact with. Like I said, there's so many different things we could talk about respect and manners. And I'd like for you to leave some comments below on how you were raised and what you see in the culture today as far as manners and respect goes. It definitely needs some work. Another area that really cooks my grease, just kind of gets my goat, as we say, bothers me to no end, is if you drive up at a drive-through, whether you're ordering some food or something to drink or ice cream, and you pull up to a fast food window and they tell you how much it is, you hand them the money, and they just hand you your food back through the window and don't even look at you, don't even have a face-to-face or eye contact, and tell you appreciate your business, thank you for stopping by. And what they realize, if it wasn't for us customers, they wouldn't have a job. But they don't show much respect like that, and that tells me they haven't been taught good manners growing up. Just here, give it to you. It's like kids today, they'll say, you ask a question, yeah, what, no. I mean, just, man, my generation was coming up, and probably a lot of you on here, as we say around here, somebody would have snatched a knot in our hind end in a heartbeat, because you just didn't show this respect to your elders back in the day. And we're a long way from that in 2023, from being well-mannered and showing respect. I see a lot of kids, I'll tell Rob Lynn a lot of times, I would see a young kid's acting, I say that child's a well-mannered child. He's been taught respect, and you can tell by the way he acts and by the way he treats us and by the way he or she treats other people. And then you can look over there and see that little brat laying on his back in the grocery store screaming and hollering because he didn't get what it wanted. There need to be some discipline applied there. I'll leave it at that. But unfortunately, as time goes on, what I'm saying is it's deteriorated since I was born in 1967. And you probably, some of you born before that, and say it's really deteriorated in your eyes since you were born. Well, if they don't get back to teaching it to this generation and generations after us, then what's it going to look like in another 10, 20 years if the world lasts that long? I'm just saying, you see a lot more disrespect, and kids are not well-mannered today than you did back years ago. But we can do our part to try to encourage them, whether it's with your children, your grandchildren, or nieces and nephews, or any young person in general, or even, like I said, maybe some older folks. They may not have been raised the right way. Maybe you could help them. You say you can't teach an old dog new tricks, but I've seen that to be not so. You can. Sometimes you can, with love and compassion. There's a scripture to back up what I'm saying about good manners. It says in 1 Corinthians 15:33, it says, be not deceived, evil communications corrupt good manners. Or in another version, it says, evil company corrupts good morals. So not only do we need to raise our children and grandchildren right, we need to make sure who they hang around with, because there can be a positive or negative impact in their life. And you could teach them respect and teach them manners and good morals, but if they hang with the wrong crowd, even though they may not be able to twist their arm, so to speak, or like the old saying, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink, but you can influence kids and young people to do things they wouldn't ordinarily do. And so just be mindful that when you teach them those manners and respect, not only teach them by telling them, but we got to teach them by example, by showing them. And then when we show them, we got to follow up with our being a part of their life and discipline, if that's what it takes, to let them know, you love them and you want to see them do good in life. And if they want to go far in life, they need to practice respect and show that they have good manners, been raised the right way, and send that on down the line. Manners and respect in 2023. Let me know what you think about what we talked about. Give me your opinion on manners and respect from when you were born to today in 2023. And how were you raised? Were you raised to respect your elders and treat other people the way you want to be treated and practice good manners? Whether you're around the eating table or just out in the public in general, just to practice good manners. So appreciate your time today. I hope you have a good rest of this Sunday afternoon. I hope you have a good upcoming week. And until next time, y'all remember, Jesus Christ loves you, and Jesus Christ is the answer for any and everything we're dealing with in life. Hope you all have a wonderful rest of the day. I love you all. Bye-bye.